Good Wednesday evening. Welcome to BCP Live. Hi, I am Joey McWilliams, and it's always a privilege to get to visit with you. We've had times to talk all through the week, and they're going to continue through the month of June. There are a lot of folks that we need to get to visit with, and one of them is on the screen with me right now. I'm going to introduce him in just a moment. I do want to say thank you for everyone watching, whether you're watching us live here on this Wednesday night or you're watching the replay on Thursday or Friday or beyond. Thank you very much for being a part of what's going on here in Bryan County. We appreciate you. Don't forget about our website, which is bryancountypatriot.com. And tonight's visit is presented by Midwest Sports Net, and that YouTube channel is pushing toward 1,000 subscribers. I know that we are going to get there. Now, that all having been said, let me introduce the gentleman who is on the monitor to my right, and you get a chance to visit with him tonight, Dustin Roberts, who is an Oklahoma State representative. Dustin, it's always a privilege, first off, to get to visit with you, so thank you for taking time tonight.
Oh, absolutely, Joey. Thank you for having us. You know, it's always a pleasure to get to visit with local celebrities. That's what I love, you know.
Now, see, I felt the same way about you, so I'll do my best to just try to hang on. It is always a privilege, though, and I know that you're doing a lot of work for us here in this district in the southeastern portion of Oklahoma, up in Oklahoma City right now, currently serving as a state representative. I know there are folks who know you already, and even some of the people who are watching this broadcast. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm just now getting in from Oklahoma City. We've been in special session, passing some tax cuts on and stuff like that. But, my name is Dustin Roberts. I've been the current sitting state representative for Bryan County for 12 years here. I own a local construction company here where we build houses. And I'm a proud United States Navy veteran. Love all our veterans and military service members from around the world, you know. And I'm just me. I'm just Dustin. I graduated from Durant High School and went off to the military, come back home and started a business, and got fed up with what was going on with the government here in the state of Oklahoma. And I talked about a lot of those issues and decided that one day I was just going to run for a state rep, and I did. And after 12 years, I fixed the issues that I set out to correct there, and I'm proud of the record I've had there. One of the best things that came out of that, the way I look at it, so I got to give my farewell speech the other day, and I put my mark on Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City never put a mark on me, and that's when I talk to people a lot of times and I say, I'm just Dustin. I have been the same person, and I don't let anything change me. And a lot of that's because, moral compass and family that I put around me and friends. I want good people around me, and I have a lovely wife that keeps me on the straight and narrow. Everybody knows. So that's a little bit about me there. And we just the issues in Congress. I said that I was a U.S. Navy vet, and I've served in the state. And I've gotten fed up what's going on in D.C. and our country's at a crossroads. And I'm tired of people just yelling and screaming and not working for us. So that's why we're in this race.
It is an interesting take, because you have served and on the state level for a while. And I appreciate the fact that you gave your farewell speech. And so, you're closing out one section of your life, and that really does lead to, and I'd like you to take that a little bit further too, take you to the next step as you're currently running to be a member of the U.S. House of Representatives in Congressional District 2 in the state of Oklahoma. And so, you've served your time for some people, maybe even for you. And then to say, hey, listen, I want to make another go at this. Elaborate a little further on what you mean and why you choose to run for this office.
Oh, absolutely. So when Senator Inhofe decided he was going to move on, and Mark Wayne, Congressman Mullins, decided that he was going to run for the U.S. Senate seat, it opened a second congressional seat up. And I had no thoughts about running for this at all. I was ready to retire. I gave that farewell. I was kind of done. And I had a lot of community leaders, business leaders, and folks all through the second congressional district and in the state of Oklahoma. A lot of my ex-military friends around the United States calling, saying, you really need to look at this, Dustin. You've done a good job. And I called the wife one day. We was getting out of Oklahoma City session. I called her and said, I'm going to drive from Oklahoma City to Durant with nothing on. As far as I'm turning TV or the radio off, I'm turning the cell phone off. Everything's going off. I'm just going to be with my thoughts. And the whole way home, and I do not advise that. That's a long drive with just your thoughts. It really is. And I kept going back to our veterans have issues and nobody's working for them. The states don't have rights anymore. The feds just keep pulling in. The president uses a pen to write legislation, and the country's in a trajectory that it's not right. It's not what our founding fathers wanted. It's not what we need in the state of Oklahoma or any other state. And my knowledge of the state budgets and the county budgets and stuff like that, I felt like it gave me a leg up. The resume that I have behind me really set myself up to move on to this next level here and do a good job for the people, work for the people and produce for the people and lead. And that's really where I kept talking to myself and just thinking about that. Why would you do this? You're ready. You've done your time. You've served your country as a legislator, as a military individual, but you can't sit on the sideline and allow your country to go the way it's going. You have to have individuals step up. And that's where I kept talking to myself. That way, you got to do something, Dustin. You can't sit on the sideline at all.
We're speaking now with Dustin Roberts here on BCP Live. Shout out to Dottie and to other folks who are watching us here on the live broadcast on Wednesday night. Thank you very much for being a part of that. Our broadcast is presented by Midwest Sportsnet. Dustin, you mentioned a couple things in there as you were talking about why you are choosing to run to serve again for a different office, again, Congressional District 2. One of those things were veterans issues, and I know that the VA is very important to you. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. So, I use the VA myself and gone through the gauntlet of it. And a lot of times our veterans, they get denied first. So the VA system is set up to where a veteran has to fill out 22 pages of documents just to be denied the benefits that they earned. Each veteran raises that right hand and they take an oath with a blank check for their life. And the military breaks them one way, shape, form, or fashion. And then the VA is supposed to pick them up. So a thought process that I've had, and I've had this for years, is to integrate the two together, the military and the VA together. So when the military individual gets out of service, their next duty station is to back to the recruiting station to sit down with a VA individual. Because currently the way the system works is a military individual service member gets out and they just become a veteran overnight. There's no help there. It's up to you to go find care. It's up to you to go sign up for your college, do all the things that veterans earn. So my thought process is integrate the two and make them work together instead of a separate entity, kind of a one-stop shop type situation. And that would fix a whole host of issues. And then getting the VA system into the 21st century when it comes to faster processing of claims. There's no reason that it should take that long for claims to be processed. There's no reason that a veteran living in Durant, Oklahoma, and the VA says, go to this doctor. He's your primary. You can go see him. That doctor prescribes you a prescription, and then you go to the local pharmacist, and the VA denies that pharmacist the prescription to be filled because he's not in network. Now you as the veteran have to drive to the VA to use their facilities to get your prescriptions filled. And I just kind of use that one. And that happens a whole lot in rural communities because the pharmacists aren't in network. The last time I checked, we're the United States of America and you're a veteran. What network are we talking about? That's, it's kind of, I live by that model. The military taught me, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And the government has overcomplicated so many things. And that's where the military mindset and the veteran mindset, just get out of our way, let us process things. And we could take better care of our veterans and our military service members just by doing things simpler.
Well, that is an important issue, and I appreciate you taking that. I hope that you haven't lost you. The signal's frozen up just a little bit, so I hope that you're still with me. Good evening, yes. Ronald. Excuse me. Thank you for being here tonight. Okay, now your screen is back, at least from my perspective. It might have been fine for you. Anyway, let's continue. Another thing that you mentioned, you were talking about federal issues and state issues. And I know that that's a big deal. I mean, we can go into the 10th Amendment and talk about things like that, I think, all day long, and everybody would have something to say about it. But I know that's something that you've been considering as well, specifically federal dollars that are controlling some state issues. Tell us a little bit more about that and what you might be able to do.
Oh, absolutely. So I've sat on the state appropriations committee for years, and I've chaired several appropriations committees inside the state. And a lot of times the state of Oklahoma, we've wanted to reform programs such as TANF, education, DHS, but the feds won't allow us. So what happens is the state of Oklahoma will put $1 in, and then we'll leverage that dollar to get $3 into the state to make more money to operate these programs. By doing that, those strings attached to every dollar coming out of Washington, D.C., they dictate and tell us what they can or what we can and cannot do with those programs. So if we want to put educational requirements, if we want to put work requirements, a whole host of building a program that will fit the state of Oklahoma, we can't do it without asking the federal government to do it. And that is backwards from what the system was set up. It's a states' rights issue back down. So what I see is getting rid of the cookie cutter mentality out of the federal government and allow those dollars to come down, allow the states to get those dollars, and the states become an incubator for these programs. Let the state of Oklahoma build a DHS TANF program that will lift the citizens up instead of keeping them on that dependency side of government. We could build programs here in the state of Oklahoma where California could piggyback off of. I hope they do, so that way we correct their state. But we could build programs at the local level better than the feds. If we just look at the PPP loan process or anything else that comes out of the federal government, they're backwards and they don't understand local issues. You take a sheriff, for example, or even a county commissioner, the grants that come down, it costs them more money just to apply for grants because the paperwork and the burdensome regulations. If we just send the money down and get out of the way, we could overnight start fixing a lot of the issues, better products, more efficient, and start cutting that deficit down because the states wouldn't be asking for more money because the overburdensome of regulations. So it start on that small scale instead of just going in and trying to eat that whole elephant at one time. Let's take a bite out of each program. Education would be a prime example. Education should be done at the local level, allow those federal dollars to come down, and let the local school boards take care of that and the states take care of the education system, and we could have a better product.
All right.
So that's one that's been very passionate of mine. I've talked about that on the campaign trail a lot, is the states' rights issues, and in particular is those dollars with those strings attached. If we could just remove the feds, we could have a better country.
Well, all right. Well, Dustin, listen, I appreciate you taking some time with us tonight here on a Wednesday night. And again, those of you who may be watching us on the replay, thanks again for watching and being a part of it. I would allow you an opportunity to close this out, because in 13 days, there's going to be a primary. And in that primary there are 16 candidates that filed to run for this office. Of those 16, 14 of them filed as being Republican. And you're one of those 14. So the primary is not by any means the election, but boy, it's really going to narrow things down. And that is in just 13 days. So that is on June 28th. That is a Tuesday. And Dustin, I would let you close your time and make an appeal then to the folks who are watching.
Oh, absolutely. I am one of 14 that's running. I would absolutely love to have your vote, because the resume that I have, it's out of the 7 congressional members that we send to Washington, D.C., the 2 U.S. Senates, and the 5 congressional seats, we have 0 veterans serving. So we don't have individuals that's ever stepped foot on foreign soil to understand the issues of the military community, of the veteran community, and simply the legislative side that I bring to the table, understanding the budgets. Frankly, it really boils down to this pen. The president of the United States gets to write policy, what he wants, when he wants, with the presidential executive orders. And it's going to take an individual that understands pulling the powers back to the elected individuals that you get to hold accountable, such as your Congress folks and senators. And I understand those. Pull those powers back. Let's run legislation to correct our country and get things back to where they were supposed to be, where we're voting on things and we're holding people accountable instead of allowing one person to dictate policy. And I understand those issues, and I'm not going to just go to Washington, D.C. and fight. I'm going to Oklahoma City or going to Washington, D.C. to work. And that is about as simple as I can put. You take people that yell and scream on Fox News and CNN, they're not doing anything for us. They're not correcting the issues. They're talking about issues, but they don't ever work to fix those. And I have that proven track record to fix issues. It's tough issues. Take the tough votes when we need them. And that takes moral compass and a backbone. And I've proven time and time again to have that. And I believe I am the person for the job to be the next congressman for the 2nd Congressional District.
All right. Dustin Roberts, currently finishing his time as a state representative in the state of Oklahoma. And we appreciate you, Dustin, for what you have already done in serving our state. And we're also very thankful for you taking some time with us tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you all so much. Hey, you're going to get there. I look forward to listening to you on the sports networks and all that. So great job.
Well, I appreciate that. We're having a lot of fun with it, and we're enjoying then getting to visit with you tonight and obviously for what you have going on. So 13 more days, and we'll see what happens. And don't forget to get out. I want to encourage everyone to pray and to vote, and in that order. Take the time to do that because it's coming up. The primary is coming up on Tuesday. Dustin Roberts, I'm Joey McWilliams. Thank you for watching this presentation of BCP Live, again presented tonight by Midwest Sportsnet. God bless you all. Have a great night. We're going to be back with more of these conversations over the course of the next 2 weeks.